Good morning, students. We are discussing the name of the topic, diversity in living world. The end concept of this topic is biodiversity. Biodiversity. This biodiversity also it has some subtopics like what is biodiversity, levels of biodiversity, and other attributes of biodiversity, then threats of biodiversity. Like after then, one more concept related to this: how do we conserve biodiversity? And one more subtopic: how do we conserve biodiversity? How do we conserve biodiversity? The subtopic biodiversity, it includes with some concepts like what is biodiversity, levels of biodiversity, other attributes of biodiversity, and threats of biodiversity. And after the threats, how do we conserve the biodiversity? How do we conserve biodiversity? Now I am going to explain about how do we conserve biodiversity. What is means conserve? To protect. What we are protect? Biodiversity. Why? What is the necessary to protect this biodiversity? If we are unable to conserve the term biodiversity, what will happen? Yes, biodiversity, it shows a great diversity of living organisms. If we are unable to protect that kind of living organisms, they are to become extinction. So the next generation, they won't see this type of animals or plants, total flora or fauna. So hence, definitely we should conserve this biodiversity and it give as a gift to the future generations. Hence, we should follow to conserve the biodiversity. Here, biodiversity conservation is not only to our country, not only to our state, it is nowadays it has become global concern. Biodiversity, conservation of biodiversity has become global concern. Conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity has become global concern. It's not to India or it's not to Australia or it's not to particular continent. Entire the world. It's related to entire the world. So conservation, the process of conservation of biodiversity has become global concern. It has become global concern. All the people, those who are lived on the planet, all these people, definitely they should follow to conserve the biodiversity. So this biodiversity, basically two types of conservation steps. There are two types. There are two types of conservation options. Two types of conservation options. What are the two types of conservation options means? Option 1 is in situ conservation. Option 1 is in situ conservation. This is also called on-set conservation. Option 2, ex situ conservation. In situ conservation and ex situ conservation. In situ conservation. Option 1, in situ conservation. Option 2, ex situ conservation. So, in situ conservation is an ideal conservation strategy. It is. In situ conservation is an ideal conservation strategy. It is an ideal conservation strategy, and ex situ conservation is give backup solution to the backup solution to in situ conservation. It gives backup solution. Backup solution means protection. protection or provide protection to the in situ conservation. See here, how do we conserve biodiversity? In this subtopic, biodiversity subtopic include with one more concept. That concept is how do we conserve biodiversity? Yes, in that conservation of biodiversity is not related to one country or one continental or one state. It's responsibility to the entire world. Hence, the conservation of biodiversity has become global concern. It has become global concern. So the people who are lived in this global, they are to follow to conserve the biodiversity within the two options. There are the two types of conservation of options, conservation of biodiversity options, conservation options. What are the two conservation options means? Option 1 is in situ conservation, option 2 is ex situ conservation. So, the most important and ideal conservation is in situ conservation. In situ conservation is the ideal conservation strategy. We should follow this one. Mostly we should give much priority to in situ conservation, and hence it become ideal conservation strategy. What about this ex situ? Ex situ conservation is backup solution to the in situ conservation. Ex situ conservation is backup solution to the in situ conservation. So, what are include in situ conservation? What are include ex situ conservation? We should follow one flow chart, simple one flow chart, that is methods of conservation of biodiversity. Methods of conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity. Methods of conservation of biodiversity. There are two methods. What are the two methods means? One is in situ conservation, another one is ex situ conservation. One is in situ conservation. One is in situ conservation. In situ conservation. In situ conservation method, and second one is ex situ conservation method. Ex situ conservation method. Ex situ conservation method. Off-site conservation and on-site conservation. This is on-site and this one off-site. On-site conservation and off-site conservation. Off-site conservation. Okay. So this in situ conservation includes with what are the in situ conservation methods means? Include with one is natural parks, and two is sanctuaries, and three is biosphere reserves, biosphere reserves. One is natural parks and two is sanctuaries, three is biosphere reserves, and four is scared groves. Okay, four is scared groves. So these are all included in situ conservation. In situ conservation is in four methods. Protected the wild animals in four ways. One is natural parks, another one is sanctuaries, third one is biosphere reserves, and fourth one is scared groves. And ex situ conservation also include with the following. What are the following means? One is cryopreservation. One is cryopreservation, and two is in vitro fertilization. In vitro preservation, and three is gene bank. gene bank. Include with zoos, zoological parks. Include with zoos. So this is flowchart to understood about methods of conservation of biodiversity. Biodiversity we should conserve in two options. One is in situ conservation, another one is ex situ conservation. So the first one, in situ conservation. What is meant by in situ conservation? What are the four? And later ex situ conservation. What is ex situ conservation and what are the methods of ex situ conservation? We should discuss right now. So the first one, in situ conservation. So the first one, in situ conservation. First one, in situ conservation. In situ conservation. So what is going on in situ conservation? Yes, in situ conservation, we should conserve that organisms in their natural habitats. In situ conservation, the process of conservation of animals or wildlife animals in its natural habitats. In its natural habitats, the process of conservation of wild animals in its natural habitats. In its natural habitats. The process of conservation of wild animals, either plants or animals, nothing but only animals, either plants or animals, wild plants or animals, we should protect in their natural habitats, where they are lived, how they are lived. In that behavior of that animals and their locality, depend on their locality, we should consider that animals or plants in their natural habitats. So what is the benefit to protect these animals in their natural habitat? Yes, it benefit to recovering population is also protected where they have lived in. See here, what is the benefit means? The benefit is recovering population. the benefit is to protect the recovery population. To protect the recovery population where they are developed. So what is the benefit means? For example, this is a restricted area, this is a natural habitat for some species of animals. So this species of animals, we should give protection to the animals, that animals continuously to increase their population or increase their race. That increasing population also protected in the same area. So this is benefit to the conservation of wild animals in their natural habitats. That conservationists to identify this type of protection of animals, they termed as they are biodiversity hotspots. Who give that name means conservationists. To identify such kind of areas. Conservationists to identify such kind of areas, identify such kind of areas and named by, identify the conserved natural habitat to named as or to named by biodiversity hotspots. Biodiversity hotspots. So what are called biodiversity hotspots? Yes, this biodiversity hotspots, they are characterized by the species richness, high species richness and high degree of endemism. Where the biodiversity hotspots characterized by, these are characterized by higher level of species richness and higher degree of endemism. Higher degree of endemism and higher degree of species richness. It means a restricted area, the local or the natural, the restricted natural area, it has with high species richness and a high degree of endemism. Endemism means a particular species are restricted to particular area are called endemic species. For example, kangaroos belongs to only in Australia, kiwi bird only in New Zealand. Such kind of species are called endemic species. So endemism means this particular zone or this particular natural habitat, it filled with or it consists with some particular organisms. So that organisms or species are called endemism. This endemism, higher degree of endemism, more number of particular species are lived in this particular area and more number of species richness. Increase the area and increase the species richness. So already we have discussed species and area relationship. So in a particular area increase, if the area will increases, automatically species richness also increases up to certain limit. So in this certain limit of increasing area, it consists with a high species richness and higher degree of endemism. Such kind of places we are termed as biodiversity hotspots. So the right definition to the biodiversity hotspot is biogeographic region with a significant resources of biodiversity. What is meant by biodiversity hotspot means biodiversity hotspot. The right definition is biodiversity hotspot is biogeographical or graphic region with a significant resources of biodiversity. Significant resources of biological diversity or resources of biosphere or biodiversity called biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot is the right definition for biodiversity hotspot, biogeographic region with a significant resources of biosphere or significant resources of biosphere or biodiversity is called biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot means a significant resources of biodiversity. Such kind of biodiversity is under threat of extension from human under threat of extension. So a particular area it filled with high species richness and high degree of endemism. So that particular area we are called biodiversity hotspot. Even though such kind of biodiversity hotspots are and they are threatened by or extension from the human activities, man-made things, construction of buildings or construction of industries or laying roads. So destruct the natural habitats. Or loss of habitat. So these are declaration to loss the habitat of organisms. So this biodiversity hotspots are these are the regions on earth. This biodiversity hotspots, the regions on earth with the richest and most threatened terrestrial ecoregions. These are biodiversity hotspots are the regions on earth with richest and most threatened terrestrial ecoregions. These are most threatened terrestrial ecoregions and they are richest with the flora and fauna. So this in situ conservation means the process of conservation of wild animals in its natural habitat. The process of conservation of wild animals in its natural habitat. For example, some animals lived in particular area. We should protect that animals in that particular area only. In that particular area only. Such kind of areas we are called in situ conservation. So, what is the benefit to in situ conservation means the newly origin species or the newly coming products they are also called population. The newly populations they are also protected in where they are protected or where they are developed. The newly population or the newly origin species they are also protected in the same area. That is the benefit of in situ conservation. So this in situ conservation, that particular area is restricted with a highly species richness and a high degree of endemism. That particular area is protected by human beings. Then the conservation, their proposed one name for that particular area are called biodiversity hotspots. What are called biodiversity hotspots? What is the definition for biodiversity hotspot? Means biogeographic region with a significant resource of biodiversity. Biogeographic region with a significant resources of biodiversity or biosphere. with a significant resources of biodiversity. Such kind of biodiversity under threat of extinction from the human, under threat and extinction from the human. So this biogeographic region also called biodiversity hotspot. That region is on Earth with a richest and most threatened terrestrial ecoregion. Terrestrial ecoregion. After then, biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot. The concept of biodiversity hotspot popularized by Norman Mailer. The concept of biodiversity hotspot popularized by Norman Mailer. Who popularized this biodiversity hotspot means the concept of biodiversity hotspot. The concept of biodiversity hotspot popularized by Norman Mailer. Norman Mailer. The biodiversity hotspot is popularized by Norman Mailer. In the world, there are about city hotspots. Ecologically, they are unique. But that ecological unique structures are the particular zones legally protected as. They are legally protected as. One is biosphere reserves. They are about 17, and second one is natural parks. They are about 90, and third one is sanctuaries. They are about 448 different types of sanctuaries around us, and 90 national parks around us, and biosphere reservoirs are about 17. So these are all include to biodiversity hotspots. What is meant by biodiversity hotspot? Biodiversity hotspot is a particular zone or region, biogeographic region with a significant biodiversity is called biodiversity hotspot. That biodiversity hotspots are, the concept of biodiversity hotspot was popularized by Norman Mailer. So these biodiversity hotspots are ecologically unique, but they are legally protected as sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, and natural parks. So the first one, biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves, a place, a set aside or yes, an area with set aside minimally disturbed of conservation of resources of biosphere called as biosphere reservoirs. Or biosphere reserves. Okay, what is meant by biosphere reserves means an area with a set aside, an area with set aside an area with set side. Minimally means very small or very less disturbed, like declaration or loss of habitat loss or fragmentation, like that. So such kind of fluctuations are very less, minimally they are occurring. Conservation resources of biosphere, they are called biosphere reserves. In biosphere reserves in India, the latest biosphere reserve in India, that is 17th, the 17th latest biosphere reserve in India is the 17th latest biosphere reserve in India. Biosphere reserve in India is the 17th. It is about the 17th. It is called Seshasalam Kondalu. Seshasalam Kondalu. Seshasalam Kondalu is the 17th. Seshasalam Kondalu is the 17th biosphere reservoir. This is the latest biosphere reservoir. It belongs to India. How many reservoirs are there? 17. So what is the 17th reservoir in India? Seshasalam Kondalu. What is meant by biosphere reservoir? An area with a set side minimally disturbed of conservation of resources of biosphere is called as biosphere reserve. That biosphere reserves to protect that wild animals in their natural habitats. So that's the latest 17th biosphere reserve in India is belongs to Seshasalam Kondalu. After then, the second, what is the second? Natural parks. Natural parks, the area which protect the wildlife in natural habitat. The second one, natural parks. National parks. Okay. What are called national parks means the area or the process of protection of wild animal in their local habitats. The process of protection. The process of protection of wild animals in natural habitats called national parks. So in these national parks we should conserve the more number of flora and fauna. The more number of flora and fauna we are protected in this national parks. What are called flora means plants and fauna means animals. So the more number of plants and animals are to protect in their natural habitats. Such kind of places we are called national parks. That national park is a natural habitat for the wildlife. National parks are the natural habitats for the wildlife. So the protection of wildlife in the natural habitats are called national parks. In that national parks we should protect the number of flora and fauna. We should protect in this area. That area are called national parks. So the different types of national parks are there, and these are about 90 national parks are there. But some of there, one is the most important, and some of these in India. One is first Jim Corbett Park. Jim Corbett National Park. This is first national park. It's located at Uttarakhand. It's located at Uttarakhand. This is first national park. And second one, Kazirango Park. Kazirango National Park. This Kazirango National Park is located in Assam. This is also national park. And the third one is Kasu Brahmananda Reddy. Kasu Brahmananda Reddy. Kasu Brahmananda Reddy. Kasu Brahmananda Reddy National Park. National Park. Along with this, Mahavir Har Vanasthali. Mahavir Har Vanasthali. Mahavir Har Vanasthali. Har Vanasthali. Mahavir Har Vanasthali. It is also national park. National park. Both are belongs to Andhra Pradesh. Both are belongs to Andhra Pradesh, AP. Andhra Pradesh. Along with this, Kilo Radio, Kio Park, National Park. Kio National Park. Kio National Park. It is located at Rajasthan. Kio National Park is located at Rajasthan. So, these are the most important national parks in India. How many national parks are there? Generally 90. But the most important national parks, one is Jim Corbett National Park. It is the first national park in Uttarakhand. And the second one is Kazirango National Park. It's located in Assam. And the third one is Kasu Brahmananda Reddy National Park and Mahavir Hari Vanasthali National Park. Both are belongs to combined Andhra Pradesh state. Before it combined Andhra Pradesh state. And then Keoladio National Park. It is located in Rajasthan. These are some national parks. What are called national parks? Means national park is the natural habitat for the wildlife. The natural habitat for the wildlife are called national park. The largest area which protect the wildlife by human beings without any disturb. That natural habitat of wildlife are called national parks. Generally, national parks are about 90 in India, but some of the most important national parks like Jim Corbett National Park, Kazirango National Park, Kasu Brahmananda Reddy National Park, and Keoladio National Park. These are the different types of national parks. After then, first one, Biosphere Reserve completed. The 17th or the latest Biosphere Reservoir is Seshachalam Kondalu in India. It is about 17 Biosphere Reservoirs. After that, national parks completed. National parks later, sanctuaries. The third one is sanctuaries. Sanctuaries are the natural habitats for the endemic species or endangered species. The space or the place or a specific endemism or endangered faunal species in natural habitats, in their natural habitats called habitats called sanctuaries. Called sanctuaries. Sanctuaries. What are called sanctuaries means? What are called sanctuaries means? Sanctuaries are the natural places. Sanctuaries are the natural places for the specific endangered faunal species. For the specific endangered faunal species. The specific endangered faunal species where they are lived, that particular places we are called sanctuaries. How many sanctuaries are there in India? They are about 448. 448. So 400 biodiversity hotspots are 34 and national parks are 90 and biosphere reservoirs are 17 and these sanctuaries are 448. What are called sanctuaries means a specific endangered faunal species where they are lived, that natural habitat of some wildlife, the natural habitat of some wildlife. They are more to become endangered. They are faunal species. The most important endangered faunal species where they are lived in. That particular area or place we are called sanctuaries. Area or place we are called sanctuaries. The most important sanctuaries they are about 448 in India. Some of them Kuringa sanctuary. Kuringa sanctuary, is located in East Godavari to Enam. Kuringa sanctuary is one of the most important sanctuary, and as like one more Western Ghat sanctuary. Kuringa sanctuary is most important, and Etur Nagaram sanctuary and Papikondalu. These are belongs to Andhra Pradesh. Papikondalu is belongs to Andhra Pradesh. These are the sanctuaries in Andhra Pradesh. Sanctuaries in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, what are called sanctuaries means the most endangered faunal species of wild animals where they are lived. That particular areas are called sanctuaries. They are about 448 entire the world. So most important sanctuaries like Kuringa sanctuary, Etur Nagaram sanctuary, and Papikondalu sanctuary are belongs to Andhra Pradesh. After them sanctuaries, the fourth one, scared groves. What are the fourth one? In situ conservation, the fourth one is scared groves. So what are called scared groves? Generally, the small group of trees then the forest are called grove. The small group of plants. Then the forest. Called scared groves. Called groves. They are called groves. Okay. So these groves are generally they are basically religious. They are related to religious. The people are belongs to a particular community or religious. That particular community or religious, they are worship that plant and protect the plant. It related to religious. The people are strictly protected or totally protected totally protected, and more they have to pay more concentration to protect that animals religiously belongs to a particular religious, or they are become a cultural, they are cultivated to this cultural religious, belongs to particular religious, they are cultured this type of plants in their surroundings, they are called scarecrows. Scarecrows. What are called groves means the small group of plants, then the forest are called groves. But that groves are under cultivated by a specific religious, under cultivated by a specific religion. That people who are belongs to a specific religion, they are worship that plant and they are totally protect that plant. So these are completely restricted to religious groves. Then they are called scarecrows. The scarecrows are located in India. They are more. What are the different types of scarecrows means? One is Giantia and Sarguja. Sarguja and Giantia. Sarguja and Giantia and Aravali and Western Ghat Kasi and Giantia, Aravali, Western Ghat and Sarguja and Bastar and then Sarguja and Bastar. So these are, for example, this Kasi and Giantia belongs to Meghalaya. And Aravali belongs to Gujarat, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Western Ghat belongs to Karnataka and Maharashtra. Sarguja and Bastar belongs to Chhattisgarh. These are some scared groves. Along with this, one more is there. One more is belongs to. Along with this, one more is belongs to Chanda. Chand is belongs to Madhya Pradesh. Chand is belongs to Madhya Pradesh. These are some scared groves in the India. Up to here, total in situ conservation completed. In situ conservation, we should discuss about biodiversity hotspots. Legally they are protected as, one is national parks, and second one biosphere reservoirs, and third one sanctuaries, and fourth one scared groves. So biosphere reservoirs, they are about 17. The latest biosphere reservoir is Sheshachalam Kondalu. After then national parks, they are about 19. The first national park is Jim Corbett National Park, belongs to Uttarakhand. After then sanctuaries are about 448. Then after scared groves. So this is total belongs to in situ conservation or on site conservation. The next one ex situ conservation. ex-situ conservation. In this ex-situ conservation, generally what we are discussing in situ conservation means that wild animals to protect in their natural habitats. The wild animals protect in their natural habitats are called in situ conservation. But here ex-situ conservation means the wild animals we should collect from their natural habitats and we should cultivate completely in man-made environment or man-made protected areas. Such kind of conservation are called ex-situ conservation. Ex-situ conservation means we should collect the animals which are becomes more endangered or at the edge of endangered. We should recognize such kind of animals to collect from their natural habitats and they are keeping man-made environment. In that man-made environment, completely human beings to take care about that animals, protected and offered food for that animals. So such kind of conservation are called ex-situ conservation. Include in ex-situ conservation zoos, zoological parks or zoos are a best example for ex-situ conservation. In this zoos, what will happen? That wild animals we should collect from the forest and to cultivate it in restricted areas. Then increase their population. Once again, these endangered animals to live in their original habitats or localities. Such kind of conservation are called ex-situ conservation. So the best example for ex-situ conservation, zoos. Along with zoos, some other techniques also there for ex-situ conservation. So what are the techniques for ex-situ conservation means? One is cryopreservation. One is cryopreservation and second one is invertration, cryopreservation and in vitro fertilization. One is cryopreservation and second one in vitro preservation and the third one is gene bank. So see here, cryopreservation. We should preserve some parts of the either plant or animal. For example, embryos and gametes. Like embryos and gametes. We should preserve in minus 196 degrees Celsius in preservative solution. We should preserve or freezing some parts of the animal or plant like embryos or gametes or other parts. We should preserve for these parts for long time in minus 196 liquid nitrogen. So such kind of method are called cryopreservation. Minus 196 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen, we should preserve some parts of the plant and animal. Such kind of technique are called cryopreservation. And then in vitro preservation, it's also in test tubes. We should preserve some gametes like they are in test tubes within a freezing condition. And gene bank, what are the desired characters attributed by the genes? We should select such kind of genes and they are also to preserve through this cryopreservative method. So these are all belongs to ex-situ conservation. So today concept how to conserve the biodiversity is completed. After then very small concept is belongs to this biodiversity. Up to here total biodiversity is completed. Okay, thank you.